Hi, I'm Tracy Sharman, and thank you for joining us today on CTE Know Before You Go. CTE stands for Career and Technical Education, and in Vancouver Public Schools, we start offering CTE classes in middle school and continue throughout high school. CTE offers students key skills and training with hands-on learning to succeed in future careers. So the different ways that we do that is we provide opportunities in CTE courses in 6 different career pathways. There are after-school career technical student organizations that students can join, such as DECA or Skills USA or Future Farmers of America. And we support magnet programs, and we always get questions about when applications open. So those open in January of 2020 for the following school year. And we also host internships and job shadows and other career-related experiences. But today we're joined by Nina Stem, and we're going to talk about an upcoming event for all students, Future You.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here today, Nina. So tell us a little bit about your role with Vancouver Public Schools.
So I am the district coordinator for a program called Gear Up, which is this crazy acronym that stands for Gaining Early Awareness and Readiness for Undergraduate Programs. We are currently focused on the class of 2023. We follow one cohort of students all the way through graduation. And our program is at Fort Vancouver High School, Hudson's Bay High School, and Skyview High School.
So when you say you follow a cohort through, do you start in a certain grade and then follow those same group of kids throughout every single grade?
We do. We start with them in 7th grade, and then we follow them until they graduate. This particular grant cycle also adds an additional year, so we will follow them into their first year of post-secondary education, whatever they choose to do.
Wow, and how long has that been going on?
This is the 4th grant cycle for the school district, so we're going on 18 years in VPS, awesome. I think. Yeah.
And so when you follow the students, does Gear Up offer them support? Or what additional things do the students get that are in your program?
So we provide them with academic support to help them be successful in high school and graduate on time, complete all their courses. If they need to do credit recovery or anything like that, then we assist with that process. Also, we provide access to college field trips, to college campuses, job sites, training schools, tech schools, apprenticeship programs, any post-secondary option that students have in our area. We will try to get students to actually be able to visit that program or visit that campus, see what it feels like. To be on a college campus with other college students around and things like that. And we provide then ongoing activities throughout the year. So things like college fairs, career exploration opportunities, folks from the community coming into our buildings and talking about their careers and inspiring students to learn something new and do something different.
Awesome, because many times students have never been to a college campus before, and they may have an idea of what WSU Vancouver is supposed to be, but once they get there, it's like, oh, this feels different, this feels small, this feels big, maybe something different will fit me better.
Yes, absolutely. And college fit is one of the key predictors of whether or not a student remains in college after the first year. So if they get on a campus that they haven't visited and they discover that they really don't like it there, they're not going to persist after their first year of college.
And how does a student get involved in Gear Up? Is it selected by the district, or do students apply?
If you are a class of 2023 student and you are at Fort Vancouver High School or Hudson's Bay High School, you are automatically a Gear Up student. There is no registration required. And at Skyview, we have followed our about 100 students that we served in middle school, and we were allowed to follow them because we had that many students go to Skyview. So normally we're in our buildings that have a 50% free and reduced lunch rate or higher.
Okay. So
it's specifically targeted.
But you're going to continue following that group.
Yes.
Neat. Tell us a little bit about Future You. And Future You is an event that's at Hudson's Bay every school year. It's on October 24th from 5:30 to 7:30 this year. But what is Future You?
So Future You, this is our 4th year doing Future You. So Future You is a post-secondary options event that is open to all of our students and families, K through 12. and it has an assortment of post-secondary options. So one of the big things with Gear Up is that we are not just college focused. We're not just 2 or 4 year program focused. We want our students to be able to do whatever they choose to do after high school, recognizing that over 70% of the jobs are going to require some kind of post-secondary education. That may just be a training program that they need to go through, but some kind of education. So we support all of our students doing whatever they'd like to do after high school. So Future You grew from that idea that instead of just having a college fair where we have our 2 and 4 year universities coming, setting up a table and just having their information for families, we now have 2 and 4 year schools, tech schools, trade schools, apprenticeship programs, training programs, local employers, people like Amazon and UPS, who are large employers in our area, who also then provide additional training for students or provide assistance with paying off student loans, for example. So it's a broad assortment of opportunities for students after they graduate high school. And it's also, we open it up to K through 12 because generally people perceive an event like this as being something that, say, our juniors and seniors need to go to. But honestly, if our students aren't engaging in these opportunities before their junior or senior year, it's too late. So if they're visiting a college table at the beginning of in October of their senior year, well, they have to send the FAFSA, the application for financial aid opens on October 1st, and the college applications start being due October 1st through January 1st. And so if they're just starting to explore those options then, they've waited too long. So it's really important for students to start taking a look at things that they might be interested in long before they reach their junior or senior year. And we open it up to our elementary school students because why not? Because it's exciting. And my experience with our elementary students coming to this event is that simply that they're really excited about it, and then they get this idea in their head that I'm going to college, or I want to go to that cool program that I saw, or that DigiPen Institute, it's up, oh, that was so cool, it's up in Seattle, whatever, and that just inspires them to then push themselves a little bit harder, or maybe once they do get to high school, they have that in the back of their head, so they take different classes and things like that. It just helps our students with their planning and their motivation.
It's so true. It's never too early to start preparing and then to know even what the possibilities are, because sometimes students do think, oh, it's just community college or university, but when they go to Future U or an event like that, they can see that there's so many different opportunities and ways that they can fit in and find their own calling within the community. And we offer a lot of great resources for that. I know sometimes we feel as parents super involved in our kids' education when they're in elementary school, because we're always there and we're helping out and we get to see the kids. But once they get to middle school and high school, it's a little harder to keep to stay in the game and keep track of what they're doing. So this is a great opportunity for families to get involved, and not only to find out what happens after high school, but we also have opportunities for our high school programs there. And will there be workshops this year? In the past, there's been workshops for parents.
We are this year focusing solely on our FAFSA and WASFA completion for our workshops. So there will be one large FAFSA WASFA completion workshop.
Tell us a little bit about what FAFSA and WASFA are.
So FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid, and WASFA is the Washington application for state financial aid. So when students are seniors, they need to apply for financial aid in order to go to college. And because bottom line, college is expensive. And it is very rare for a family to actually be able to fully afford paying out of pocket for their student to go to college. So those two forms are very important. The FAFSA is intended for students who have a Social Security number, and the WASFA is intended for students who do not have a Social Security number. Those students don't have access to federal financial aid funds, but they do have access to state financial aid funds. And we are very lucky to live in Washington State. We take pretty good care of our students and offer them a lot of really great resources for paying to go to college, including things like the College Bound Scholarship and the Washington State Need Grant, which actually fully funds tuition at over 67 schools and training programs in the state of Washington for our students who qualify financially. So that's a really big deal, and we're one of the only states in the country that does something like that. In order for our students to access those state funds, they have to file their FAFSA or their WASFA. Opens October 1st of every year, and seniors need to file it as close to October 1st as they possibly can, because there are some funds that run out. And then every year after that they're going to school, they have to refile again October 1st.
And when's the deadline?
So it depends on the school.
Okay.
So there is actually no hard deadline for either the FAFSA or the WASFA itself. However, each individual institution will have its own financial aid and application deadline. They're often the same.
Okay.
But some schools do have an earlier financial aid deadline just because they want to get that information in their system. So it's always best to check with your school to make sure what their deadline is.
And like you say, the sooner you apply, the more funds that may be available for that student. And I've heard some parents say, well, I'm not applying, we make too much. But everyone should apply. And for both FAFSA and WASFA, is that correct?
No, it's an only one is the saying that we use. So you only file one. It's either a FAFSA if you have a Social Security number, WASFA if you don't have a Social Security number. FAFSA if the student has a Social Security number and the parents do not have a Social Security number, the student would still file the FAFSA.
Okay. And so at Future U, we're going to have people on hand to help parents and students fill those out?
Yes.
Awesome. And what do they need to bring with them to be prepared for that?
So they need to bring all of their basic information, things like their address and name and Social Security number and all of that kind of good stuff. And then they also need to bring their tax information for the prior year. So that's a little bit confusing. But on October 1st, the way for people to think about it is it's the taxes that you've already filed. The most recent taxes that you have already filed are the taxes that you bring, which means you have not filed your, like this year, you've not filed your 2019 taxes yet by October 1st, right? So you would bring your 2018 taxes in order to complete the form.
And Future U is a great event, and not really, we're going to be providing support for filling out those forms, but where else can parents find support for that?
So as a school district, all of our high school buildings in the district offer assistance for filing both of those forms throughout the school year. So starting in October, all of our high schools will have FAFSA, WASFA completion events, either in the evenings, sometimes first thing in the morning, sometimes during the school day. Just depends on the building. Our district calendar has most of those dates on it, and the building calendar for your school will also have those events on it. We also partner with Washington State University Vancouver campus up in Salmon Creek, and they do what is called College Goal Washington. And one evening every week in the month of October, they're doing a 2-hour-long FAFSA completion assistance event on campus up at the WSU Vancouver campus.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
great support.
So we have a lot of opportunity, and no matter what, a family can always contact myself with Gear Up or contact the career specialist in their building or the school counselor in their building, and they will be able to help them even if they're not able to make it to an event.
And this is Nina Stem that's joining us today, and that's Nina, NINA.STEMM at Vancouver or at vansd.org. That's Nina's contact information if you'd like it, and you can always go, like Nina said, to any of the counselors or careers at the building and find out more information. Back to Future You. So it's on October 24th from 5:30 to 7:30. Hudson's Bay is hosting it, but it's open. That's just the location. Open.
Correct. They just have the largest space for us to use.
So it's open to all Vancouver public students. What if I'm an employer or a community member that has a tech school? What can I do to get involved? Do you guys take people, local community members?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm the main contact person for Future You. There's a very simple registration form that I have a link I can send out to anybody. So if anybody's interested, they can just contact me. I'll send them the registration link. It's just a few basic questions.
Okay.
They register, I have them signed up, and I get to assign them a table, and they're ready to go.
And if I'm going to host a booth, am I just waiting for people to ask me questions, or people coming up and getting information? So if I'm hiring or if I have a training program, I'll be anticipating.
Yes.
That.
So it is. It's set up in a large open area. Everybody has their own table to set up however they like and have whatever information they want. And it is just our attendees coming and rotating themselves through the tables, visiting who they want to visit and asking questions as they go around. Yeah.
And it's so important to get employers there, as well as all the different training programs and colleges and universities and military and apprenticeship programs that we have there, so that students know how cool Vancouver is and how many local opportunities there are. I don't think they understand what a great tech industry we have here in Vancouver, or the different construction and trades opportunities here. So it's a great time for local employers to get involved and to show off what you do and what you've created here in Vancouver. So where can our listeners find out more information about Future You, Nina?
So it's all over our district web pages right now, because it's one of our big upcoming events.
Okay.
And it's on the district calendar. So if they go on the VanSD website and check the calendar, Future You will be on there on October 24th, and they can click on it and get a little more information, basic flyer. All of the schools have Future You flyers, they have posters, they have sandwich boards that are going to be out in front of all of the buildings. So when you're coming to pick up or drop off your kiddos, there's going to be a big Future You sandwich board sitting out front with information on it for you, just to give you that reminder.
And there's nothing you need to do. You just need to show up and check everything out. It's a great opportunity on October 24th to come find out what's next. It's never too early to start exploring. I know my daughter, when she was looking at different college campuses, we have quite an age gap between our youngest and oldest. And so our little one went with her, and the few college campuses that they went to, she's in love with all of them. So she was 6 when she toured them, but she remembers them, and she's like, oh, wow, that was really special to me.
Yeah.
And I'd like to check that out when I get there. So it's never too early to start and find out about all the different possibilities that are available after high school. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Nina?
I don't think so. I think the only thing I would like to say is if things like childcare, if you have younger ones at home and you don't, you feel like it wouldn't necessarily be easy to bring them, we do have activities at Future You for younger kids who maybe are not interested in wandering around and talking to colleges and employers and such. So we do have activity tables, and we have high school students who are helping man those activity tables, and they do coloring and play games and things like that to help entertain some of our younger guests.
And many of the participants bring their own swag that they hand out, and there's usually some goodies available for eating as well. So we
always give prizes. Also, we have a big raffle. So if you go around, you visit at least 9 different tables, and you get your bingo card stamped, and you drop it in the box on your way out. Then all of our presenters bring items to donate to the drawing. So I then draw student names afterwards, and those prizes get delivered to students at their schools the next week, and that's always really fun too. So.
It's a great time. If you haven't been to Future U, or if you went, you need to still come back and check it out again because there's always new people there. So again, it's October 24th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Hudson's Bay High School. So you can know before you go or before your students go on. Oh. Sorry about that. So we encourage our VPS families again to attend Future U on October 24th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Hudson's Bay. Thank you, Nina, for giving students and their families the tools that they need to make informed decisions.
Thanks for having me today.
Thank you so much for joining us today on CTE Know Before You Go, and we hope to see you at Future U in October.